Leah Hairston, I am very excited to have this conversation with you. I've never talked to a doula before, and I'm so interested in what you do. So let's just get into it. I won't leave the people waiting too long. So
Yeah.
you are a seasoned doula, a perinatal social worker, and a maternal health advocate. You lead one of the only Black women-led Medicaid-approved doula agencies in the state of Maryland, Sweet Bee Services, and we're going to talk all about that. So, Leah, please tell the
Mhm.
people who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you first off so much for having me. As you shared, my name is Leah. I am the CEO and founder of Sweet Bee Services, like the birds and the bees. We are Baltimore's concierge doula agency on a mission to end maternal mortality.
Mm.
And we do that through direct services, education, and technology as appropriate. I am our CEO and founder. I'm also a perinatal social worker, which means that my work is focused on people who are having babies or making decisions around having babies and how to raise those babies, specifically in the first year or two of their lives. And I also am a macro social worker, which means that my work is not clinical. At the heart, it does involve clinical skills, but it really is around how individuals interact with systems and how those systems can be better prepared and designed to support people's well-being.
I love that. I really, really love what you do as somebody who doesn't have any children yet,
Uh-huh.
but is thinking about marriage and children and things like that. It can be scary.
Sure.
So it is really, I think it's really helpful to see people in the field who look like me, and
Mhm.
to see people in the field who are doing something that's very different than the traditional medicine that we're all taught that we have to have, right? Like a lot of the
Yeah.
times we don't know that there is another way, that there's, something else that might be better for us. So please talk
Yeah.
about like where this idea came from, why you started it, how it started, all the good stuff.
Sure. I think also, though, part of what you said is important to acknowledge in that people don't often know what other options they have.
Yeah.
And you mentioned traditional methods, but really what I do is traditional. What we see
Okay.
now is a new and Western version of how to
Oh,
use medicine, how to use interventions.
yes, please
And
talk
my
about
job is
it.
to make sure is to make sure people know how to integrate both of them. And
Okay.
so I really find that my role and my purpose is to figure out where is the intersection and how can people access as much
Mm,
of that integrated opportunity or experience as possible, and that their autonomy is central to it. So, what do you want to use? Why do you want to use it? As long as you know the why, I will fully support that. And so
mhm,
that's why education is at the foundation of everything we do. We want people to know what is available, why they should use it, why they should not use it, and then choose what works for them.
mm,
And really, that's how and why I got started. I became a doula in 2016 while I was finishing my graduate degree at Columbia University. And while I was there, I was wrestling with how do we help people feel safe within systems.
mm,
All of my academic background really has to do with processing and healing from trauma. And my undergraduate theses at Howard University were around how people heal from sexually based violence and how society can protect them or does not. And
mm,
so as I wove through my career, I knew that my purpose was to make sure that people were always protected, especially those who find themselves in vulnerable situations.
mm,
And I like to be very explicit with my language. People are not necessarily vulnerable. They might be in a vulnerable situation, but we always have power. And many times we're find ourselves in systems that were designed to remove that power from us, but it doesn't mean that we can't tap into it.
mm.
And so I wanted to make sure that I found ways to help people tap into that power and activate it so that they could use it for the rest of their lives in whatever ways they wanted to.
Wow.
And when I found out about doulas, I actually was really little. I was probably 8 or 9 years old, but I never saw Black doulas.
Mm,
And I naively assumed, well, that just must not be a career for us,
yep.
which is so false. We were the first doulas and have always been. And nurturing and caregiving is just inherent to how societies thrive and how Black and Brown communities were designed to function. And honestly, every community indigenous to the world has had doulas or people who
Mm,
work in that capacity. But with the transatlantic transatlantic slave trade and us being removed violently from our homes, although very specifically because people who had experience in herbalism were brought specifically to keep folks alive. People who had experience in rice and agriculture were brought to make sure that the rice paddies in South Carolina and down south were, sustainable. And
Mhm.
so knowing the meticulous and honestly devious nature of enslavement, also there is a beauty in knowing that although we were not brought here by choice, many of us, and my family is on both sides, are immigrants by force and by choice, but knowing that many of us were not brought here by choice, and yet we found ways to keep ourselves alive and keep our traditions alive, I find that that is part of what flows through my veins, and part of my calling is to make sure we know what is true traditionally to
Mm.
how we like to support our community, support ourselves, make sure that we're tapping into reproductive justice. And also, we're in the United States in 2026. So, what is the current context? What are the needs? How do we navigate these systems in ways that allow us to feel supported and encouraged and empowered?
Mm. Yeah, I love so much of what you said. First, I want to talk about you. You knew about doulas, but you didn't see any Black doulas, so you assume, as we
I was like, okay.
that that's not for us. We don't do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, because that's a mindset I think that so many of us hold until we see the first person, and then it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow, it's a
It is
whole
possible.
mindset shift,
Yeah.
right? So please talk about. I don't know if you had that mindset shift of like, oh no, there are Black women doulas. We started this thing, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean? And then talk about, because yeah, traditional, right?
It
That's
has a
the
lot of
word
meaning.
that I use, right? But that's not what I actually meant when I said it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you could just talk more about that, of like, give us a little history and background
Sure.
of the doulas. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, I got trained in 2016. While I was in my first year of graduate school, I met a Black doula. And I was like, wait, I've heard of doulas. I didn't know how do you do this? How do I integrate it into social work? I know I want to, I don't really know how. And one of the many thorough-throughs in my career is that if I figure out something, I'm gonna open the gates wide, bust them
Mhm.
open, make sure everybody can come through. But
Yeah.
also, I often am creating something because there was nothing when I needed it.
Mm.
And so I have not yet had any biological children, but I knew that I wanted to be safe when I have children, and I have three sisters. And I said, the math is looking like if the statistics are true that Black women are 3 to 5 times more likely to die. My sisters and I all have undergraduate degrees. I have a graduate degree. Actually, the statistics show that those who have higher academic achievements are at greater risk. And it's not because we've achieved more. My theory and my study has really been around the exposure to stress and the amount of stress that we have to take on to maintain being in environments where it is not only acceptable but expected that you have achieved that level of academic status, which correlates with your work status. So I have supported and I am a CEO. I've worked with really high earning women who find themselves in positions of power that are respected in the way the US works right now, but also they take on a lot to stay in those spaces, and our bodies wear that story. So all that to say, I did the math and I said one of us, according to the statistics, would die when we have a baby. And I don't want to lose my sisters because they're bringing new life into the world. So, and that honestly, it's not just my biological sisters. I got a lot of sisters and I wanted to make sure that we were good. So I became a doula and I figured out finally the thing that answered all the questions I'd had around was like, so what happens when you go to the hospital? And why do people have to get an epidural? And how do you feed a baby? There were answers that were in the indigenous and traditional sense, and there were also answers that complemented here's when you use medical intervention. It should not be a crutch, it should not be the first thing you go to, but also here's why the system does that. And it really helped inform for me how to create this almost like a chicken noodle soup experience to make sure that there's a little bit of noodle, a little bit of rice, a little bit of whatever you need in there, and also that it is nourishing and safe for people. And so with my first 8 families, I served 8 families in 8 weeks, and I was in New York City running around with no money, hailing taxis to get to like 3 in the morning, had to get to the hospital to help people have babies, which is so exhilarating and was an adrenaline rush, but it also was very sobering because I had finished this training. I felt like I was prepared and I was not prepared fully. I had so many more questions. I recognized the power dynamics in the hospital. I am like young presenting. So back 10 years ago, baby, they said,
Mm.
what are you doing here? Some girl in leggings, like, what are you doing? But I knew that I was gifted. I knew how to support people. My clients always had a wonderful experience. So I said, there has to be something here. I just have to figure out how to make sure other people get access to this. And also, my clients were surviving in a world where I was supporting high risk families that often had various interventions, like I had to go to emergency foster care and drop kids off. I had families that didn't speak any English. I had families where there were exposure or there were risk levels for preeclampsia and gestational diabetes. These are things that people die from on a daily basis. And that's a very real statistic. These are real stories. But my clients were surviving, and I figured out it wasn't just because they had someone by their side. It's because they had an advocate helping them navigate the experience who could help to regulate their blood pressure, help to bring some calm, allow their nervous system to regulate so they can make decisions based off of what they truly wanted and not just what others were telling them to do. And sometimes they went with the decisions of the doctors, but they were okay to do that because they felt like it was their decision and that they weren't being infantilized. So that was in 2016. And then I finished my degree in 2017, graduated, and I moved back home to Baltimore. And I said, you know what? I don't see anyone doing this down here, but I know if we needed it in New York, we definitely need it down here. And so thankfully, I met one of my doula sisters shortly after I moved back home. And she was like, hey, I don't know any other doulas here either. I said, well, come on, I'll be your backup. You be mine. And literally for the last 10 years, like I talked to her yesterday, like we have built a deep friendship and sisterhood off of our shared experiences as doulas and as social workers. But also along that way, I knew that I wanted to make sure that we had 1 million doulas in the US. And I did the research, and years later, we went through the pandemic, and I was really honored to support 27 families that year. I don't recommend that to anyone. It's a lot of births, a lot of postpartums, a lot of overnights. It will take a toll on your body. And I often say, doulas live on call just like doctors and nurses, but we don't get paid the same way. And so we bear the same sort of weight as being in healthcare and being on call and putting our lives on hold for our clients. And we love it because we care about our clients, but we don't love the impact that it has on our bodies. And so having lived through that and also knowing we needed 1 million doulas, I began teaching other doulas in 2021. And I'm a founding member of the National Black Doula Association. And so when I started teaching, I taught solely through them. And then my students were like, well, do you mentor? And it's like, sure, why not? Come on. Once again, like I just build it. I was building it as I went along. And so I was like, well, come on, come to births with me and we'll figure it out. And so the figuring it out turned into an agency. And in 2021, I left my full-time job, built our agency. And we are now, like you shared, one of the few Medicaid approved doula training organizations. And we also match people with clients. And I'm really proud of that because in Baltimore, when I applied, there were no Black woman owned Baltimore born and bred organizations on there. And I'm like, well, who knows the community? If you're not here on the ground, how do you know that your curriculum actually fits what we need here? And there are some standards that are nationally needed. I think that's important. But also, you have to know the landscape and being connected to who are the hospitals here? What's the health department like? Health departments across the state. Do you know the environment? I spent 5.5 years traveling across all of Maryland, DC, and Northern Virginia. So I know what it's like. And I've also been training people so that they can go in and start from where I am today. I never want people to start from where I started in 2016. What's the point in that? Like, open the gates. I don't align with, well, I know it. And so now you have to figure it out and go through the hard stuff. Why? People are literally dying. So no, what do you need to know? Be respectful, be able to put yourself in a position where you can be grateful for what people are navigating, how they have created a path for you, but also take charge. Like,
Yeah.
grab what they told you and move forward, because this is not about any one person and it never has been, but really the movement of protecting people is what we need in this time.
Mm. Absolutely, absolutely. Protection and safety for sure.
Hmm.
So much came up in that.
Yeah.
So many themes of community, um,
Hmm.
themes of like freedom, autonomy, choice, safety. I want to talk about all of that, but first, I definitely want to talk about how you rest and how you like
Hmm.
charge, because I know that is very important. You're dealing with clients all the time. Like you said, you're like putting your life on hold for the clients and you enjoy it. Absolutely. But I
Hmm.
know your body is like, girl, another
Hmm.
one.
Especially after 10
Sometimes.
years,
So,
it's like, oh, here we go again.
yes, let's talk about it.
Yeah, but I firmly hold the belief that rest is imperative and rest is
Mm,
not earned.
mm,
That is also something that I constantly have to remind myself and remind my team of, because the way my mind works, I have all these new ideas and I want to work on something. And I'm like, oh, it's 10 o'clock. It's finally quiet at night. Let me see. It's like, no, go to bed.
mm, mm,
This is not the time to ideate. But I do try to create in my schedule the capacity for, okay, I have slow mornings as most times I can. Usually Mondays are my day off. I also don't do anything on Sundays. It's like, unless you're kin, you're not gonna see me.
mm,
Um, and it fluctuates with the seasons, because when I'm teaching and I'm in a heavy teaching season, my work week shifts so that I'm
mm,
teaching on Saturdays. I also hold other positions. I'm the entrepreneur in residence this year at the Pava Center for Johns Hopkins University, which focuses on entrepreneurship and developing social ventures. And so I have Saturday obligations there or Thursday obligations. So I appreciate that I have a more flexible schedule and that I can decide, all right, that Mondays are my day off for the next couple of months. But that also requires, to be very honest, that I'm up usually around 5:45, 6 a.m. most days, so that I can get the 3 hours of quiet to journal and let my brain settle and move my body. And then I can start meetings. But my meetings also will go until 7 o'clock at night. And so helping people to find rest in that demanding schedule is something that, because I have struggled with historically, I try to be very mindful of in the present, and also not needing it to be so concrete all the time. So for me, rest might mean that I have a full week off, but also it could mean that I work from home and that way I can cook in the middle of the day. Or if I know that I'm going to have a really heavy travel schedule, then I block the weekend after that and I just go hang out with friends and family or sleep in. Or honestly, rest also could mean taking care of home. And so if I need to like just be home and be present and clean things up. So being much more comfortable with the various definitions of rest and
mm.
knowing what kind of rest I need in each season is also what has allowed me to sustain my career, especially because most doulas don't last more than 2 years. Most of us burn out at that
Mm.
point. For me, it's been 5 times as long. And so I know that part of it has to do with my passion, but part of it also has to do with the way I am actively structuring and restructuring my life responsively to what I need in each season.
Yeah, and that is the freedom of entrepreneurship, right? That is kind of
Hmm.
the whole point of this conversation. I know we've been talking about other things, but that freedom of being able to do that, that's like the whole point to me of entrepreneurship,
Yes,
and to a
exactly.
lot of women that I speak to, and
Hmm.
that goes back to like to your point of what you do, giving your clients autonomy, giving them
Hmm.
choice in that freedom, right? Can you talk about why that's so important? I think that's so important. Freedom is one of my main values.
Hmm.
But please talk about why
Yeah.
that is important.
I mean, I agree. Autonomy is a value. I also recognize 98% of my clients are Black women. And in the US today, even though we're in a different time and we have seen a lot of progress when it comes to women's rights and when it comes to the way that we treat people, we still live in a world that was designed to be systemically oppressive, a country, I should say, a country that was designed to be systemically oppressive to us. And it sometimes what I found is people need permission to tap into their autonomy and they don't recognize they aren't living fully in it. And in the process of working with our clients, we're relationship based. We spend on average 6 to 9 months with our clients, and that's very intentional because to see real change in the way that we shift our mindsets, you need time. You need exposure repeatedly. You need to feel confident in the decisions you're making. And there are a lot of doulas who will show up at 40 weeks or 37 weeks when somebody's giving birth, and I respect that. But the way that we doula at Sweet Bee is really based around not just saving your life in the moment, but we're able to help save your life because we have helped you to create a system where you are autonomous and you are the center and you're empowered. That doesn't happen overnight. That takes time, it takes intentionality, and it takes relationship. And so we create a safe space for people to be like, you know what? I actually don't want to do that. I'm like, great. Tell me why.
Mhm.
Or a space to be like, I know I agree with that and I want to do this. Great. Tell me why.
Yeah.
As long as you can go through that process of articulating what is important to you, how do you want to navigate this, and who do you want by your side, it changes so much. And my clients, especially the ones that I've in more consistent communication with over the years, often talk about how it was the first time in their pregnancy and birth experience that working with us that somebody asked them, well, what do you want? Which
Yeah.
to me is mind blowing.
Yeah.
I'm the one having a baby. What do you mean? What do I want? So people,
Mhm.
I want to have a safe. No, 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 no. Safety is the floor. Thriving is what we're reaching for and what we will achieve. What does it mean to you to feel safe? Good. What does it mean to you to thrive? And to help redefine for them that just because you may have or may have not ticked off all the boxes of like what a cute American life should look like doesn't mean that you're fully living in your autonomous self. And in order for people to parent generationally in ways that are life giving, I believe you need to know what your autonomous self is, how to respect your child's autonomy, and how to nurture that so that they never have to start over from where you are.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. 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 I love that so much. Because I did not feel that growing up at
Mm-hmm.
all. I'm somebody
Mm-hmm.
who has always had really bad periods and always
Mm-hmm.
just I was put on pain meds like ASAP, and that was
Mm-hmm.
pretty much it, right? Never actually dealt with issues. I just
Mm-hmm.
had the doctors tell me, oh, okay, this is what you do, those type of things. I just never felt like I had any freedom, any choice in my decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why that is one of my values. That's why
Yeah.
I value it so much because growing up, I never felt like I had it. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna take it
Mm-hmm.
for myself now.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense, Chad.
Yeah, it's not shocking, but it sucks to hear that like your clients, they come to you and it's the first time somebody asks them what do they want. It's like,
I don't like that.
oh, I hate it so much. What kind of world are we living
Yeah,
in, right? But it's not
exactly.
shocking at all because the experts know the best, right? They are the expert for a reason, so they know what's best. Even though I should be the expert for myself, right? I should be the
And you
expert for
are.
my body,
You are
right?
the expert in your body.
Thank you, thank
That's
you.
crazy. It's a novel idea that you know the body you're living in.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I love what you're doing. Love
Thank
everything you're
you.
saying. So yeah, let's move on or let's pivot a little bit to the
Hmm.
entrepreneurship conversation. And I want to hear all about how you actually started the business and what that looked like. You partnered with your doula friend and was like, all right, we're gonna do this. What actually what were some of the first steps that you took and what did that look like? And I would love to hear about maybe some challenges you went through and overcame.
Hmm.
Yeah, all the details, whatever you want to tell.
Sure. Well, I often tell people to not do what I did because
Okay.
I didn't come from a business background. I came from
Yeah.
a nonprofit background. And in the nonprofit industrial complex, we give and give and give and give, and it becomes to our own detriment as opposed to it being a way for us to also uplift ourselves. And I say that in the terms of people do feel uplifted because the altruism is there and they're excited and they want to give to a good cause. At the same time, at least in the state of Maryland, we have like way too many nonprofits. And I have friends that run a lot of them and I love what they're doing and I think we're mission aligned. But when I was figuring out what to do, I knew that I needed to figure out a way to make money so that I could do good because we live in a capitalist society. And I feel it would have been, I don't feel, I know it would have been naive of me to assume that in an industry where people specifically stole our wisdom in order to make money, I would not be able to change the system if I was not making money. So you got to fight, fight, with the tools that you have. And so in my mind, it was like, oh, well, I'm going to start a business. What I did not realize was the steps I needed to take to actually formally have a business. And part of that is because I was unsure at the beginning what it should look like, how it should be. What I tell new entrepreneurs now is that what you start with is not what you end with, and that's
Mm-hmm.
really fine. So
Mm-hmm.
don't let it's like it actually shouldn't be.
Yeah.
If you're doing business right, it's going to evolve, it's going to grow, it's going to find its true footing. And it takes about 2 to 5 years, which is why most businesses close within 2 to 5 years, is that either you're so struck and you're so stuck, I should say, on having the thing that you thought you wanted in the way you wanted it to be, that you can't pivot and shift for what the market actually wants and what you need to do to contribute to your community. So I would tell entrepreneurs, make sure you do all the filing, make sure that you actually have a good like $2,000 to $4,000 prepared to start a business. If this is something you want to grow and actually have profit and be a profitable business. If you want an expensive hobby, I fully support that. But I do also tell people there's two different things,
Yes.
two very different things. And I have had an expensive hobby and I've had a business and I know the difference.
Yeah.
I still have expensive hobbies, but like that's okay. It's just a conscious decision. So when you're going to have a business, you need to know what is your mission, your vision, also who are your customers, because who is going to pay for what you offer. And
Mm-hmm.
if they don't pay, either you have a mismatch with the market or you have a mismatch with your offer. And you have to be humble enough to say, this is not working. It's time to pivot. So I will say I have pivoted plenty of times and I'm okay to do that because at the end of the day, my mission is to end maternal mortality. The way that I do that started with direct services, with me sitting down in a little cafeteria with some folks and explaining the birth process, and they had their baby 8 years ago. Now it's me training 14 doulas who receive scholarships from Baltimore City Health Department and the Food Project and our own doula who became a TA so that they are equipped. They also got way more because now I'm a spinning babies, gone through spinning babies training and I'm a certified lactation counselor and placental encapsulator. So I work with pelvic floor physical therapists. There's a lot more that goes into the training now. And if I had said in 2016, oh, I'm never going to teach people, that's not what I do, or said in 2021, that's not part of the business, honestly, it probably would have flopped because there are way more
Mm.
doulas now. And I knew that. And I knew that for many people, that's seen as a competitive edge, like a problem. I don't see it as a problem. We need a lot of doulas.
Yeah.
In 2021, only 6% of birthing people in the entire country had a doula by their side.
Mm.
6%.
Mm.
How arrogant of me would it be to say, like, well, we don't need more doulas. I can go be everyone's doula. Girl,
Yeah.
bye. You absolutely cannot. I already told you
Right.
I'm tired. So instead of me saying, like, this is my business and this is how it needs to work, I said, what are the needs? Like, you have to constantly be doing the analysis and the research. What are the needs in my state? What are the needs in my geographic area? How much can I actually charge? Is that feasible? Just because I can charge as much and I should charge as much doesn't mean people will pay for it. And so if that's the case, how do you have another revenue stream for your business so that it is sustainable and you still meet the mission? The mission is to end maternal mortality. We do that through direct services, but we also do it through education. And that allows us to make sure that we maintain our 100% survival rate and we see as many clients as we need to. So that's part of my my entrepreneurial hat is
Yeah.
really making sure that people are making wise decisions when it comes to business because I had been the person to not make all of those. And like I said, I don't want people to start from where I was. I want them to start from where I am.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how you're like, we're not gatekeeping over here. Like,
Oh,
come
no,
on in. We got the tools. We giving them out for free. Like, not for free, but
not for free. There is a cost
but
associated, but
right.
it will
But
help you make more money and help you have a sustainable career.
and I love how you're talking about money because oh my gosh, people love to shy away from money. It's like I don't want
Yeah.
to talk about that, but we talk about money over here, and we talk about how it's important. Especially we live in America, we gotta make
Hmm.
money. I don't know how
That's how
you
you do
surviving
anything
if
here.
if you don't got money. Okay.
Because money is not inherently evil. And I think oftentimes, I don't think, once again, I know the conversations I've been in where people say, oh, I don't know about money. I'm scared of money. I used to be in that space where I was
Mm-hmm.
afraid to have conversations around money, to discuss that I want to make a lot of money. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to make a lot of money just to sit on a pile of money. I want to make a lot of money because that opens doors for me to do good and protect
Yes.
people. That's
Yes.
honorable. That's an honorable reason. And money is simply a tool. We just
Yes.
live in a world where a lot of people have used it for evil, and more of us need to use it for good.
Absolutely. There you go, right there. That's the mic drop moment right there. Because that's it. The more money you have, the more impact you can have, right?
Yes.
The bigger impact you can have, the more people that you can help, the bigger you can make
Hmm.
things, right? Like, it's not, money is
Not
not bad.
complicated. Yes.
Money is not bad. Okay. Let's just get that out of your head. I know people have such horrible relationships with money. And I know I come from like uh, we'll call it like the starving artist mindset where
Hmm.
it's like,
Hmm.
no, I get to do this amazing thing. I don't
Yeah.
need money. No, we
A
are
lot of
getting,
doulas have that too.
oh
I
my
get
gosh.
it.
Yeah, we're getting so far away from that mindset because
Yes.
you need money.
Hmm.
If you
We
live here,
do.
you absolutely need money. And it's okay. We're getting away from the money
Hmm.
evil. Money is not evil. What you do with your money is what matters, right? So
Yes.
like Leah said, we're gonna do good things with our money, but we're gonna make
Hmm.
money.
We're
For
going to
sure.
make it. Because
Yeah.
also, when you have money, you can take care of yourself.
Yes.
And so many of us, when you say back to the starving artist, there are a lot of starving doulas who
Mm.
are over here worried about our bills, worried about our lights being on, worried about putting gas in the car, and showing up for people for 24, 27, 36 hours in a row. And then go home like, well, actually, the lights don't cut on, and I forgot to pay that bill, or I didn't ask my client to pay me on time. That's not healthy. Like the stress I talked about earlier, that stress is in our bodies and our blood pressure is high, our cholesterol levels are high, we're losing our hair, we're gaining weight or losing weight, we don't have an appetite. That's not sustainable, and that is in many ways just as detrimental as using your money for evil.
Mm.
So I want to
Yeah.
be very clear and empathetic when I say this, but I talk with my doulas all the time. Charge not what you're worth is not possible. You're invaluable. But charge what your services are worth so that you
Mm-mm.
can have a livable wage.
Yeah.
Not I make $8 over here. What do you in Maryland? What are you gonna do with $8? I'm so I'm so serious. You could maybe get a Starbucks drink for $8 now, and that's a small. And I don't even drink Starbucks anymore. Like we're quick to say, well, cut out the coffee and cut out this. Why? Life is short. You should be able to enjoy it, and you should be able to enjoy caring for people in your profession and be able to go home and be comfortable and know that your family's taken care of. There are a lot of
Yes.
people in the medical field, in the healthcare field, in the arts industry who are doing well. They have figured out what that thing needs to be. And so, those of us who are not yet in the space where we're comfortable financially, we do, like you said, we need to shift our mindset around it. Why am I fearful of money? Why am I fearful of this definition of success? And who do I need to become to reach that level of success so that I am at peace with myself and my calling can be fulfilled? Because at the end of the day, we all have a purpose and a calling in life. And if we are sitting in spaces where we're fearful and we are creating barriers and boundaries and not other people imposing them on us, like they didn't even have to impose it because you did it
Yes.
yourself. And now you're going to
Yes.
die full of all the potential. I never, like, my life's calling is to die empty of all the potential inside of me.
Mm.
And I want that for other people. I want every gift that you have to be poured out. I want people to, sing a melody that you had in your head, or to
Yes.
be reminded, remember that one time the person wrote that thing, or they performed that
Yes.
show, or I walked down and this person just smiled at me. I was walking down the street. That's part of our purpose and calling in life. And for me, that means showing up in spaces that are related to maternal health and entrepreneurship. For you, that's, a whole bunch of other ways of being an artist and being a podcaster. And so my hope and prayer for anybody is that you would not allow the self-imposed boundaries or hindrances to keep you back just as much as the other imposed things would.
Mm. Yes. Oh my gosh. I needed to hear that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Something that I'm focusing on this year is not just shifting my mindset, but shifting my identity.
Mm-hmm.
So I will tag this in the show notes of this episode, but the episode with Siobhan Larice, she talked about embodying and stepping into
Mm-hmm.
new identities. And
Mm-hmm.
I just had so many light bulb moments
Mm-hmm.
because that's it right there. It's not enough to like be excited about a thing and like say we're going to do the thing and like
Mm-hmm.
talk about the thing. You have to step into
Do
the
it.
new identity and
Yeah.
embody the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is getting you to the next level. So I
Mm-hmm.
needed that today. Thank you, Leah,
Yeah,
because
thank
that
you,
is
Jess.
it's becoming more and more clear to me that I'm stepping into
Mm-hmm.
a new identity this year. And it's a little
Mm-hmm.
scary, but I'm here for
It is. I
it.
empathize because there's a tension there. And
Yeah.
it's in that process, I think of it as birth. Like birth is a great
Mm.
analogy for everything in
Yeah.
life. But as a baby exits the vaginal canal, they do this rocking sensation where they rock down and they come back up. And it's almost like a turtle coming out of its shell. But if a baby doesn't do that rocking sensation, it can cause stress to the baby, it can cause damage to the vaginal canal. And so, although it's really frustrating to feel like the baby's going back up, that's a good thing. That means they're creating space and then they're letting it kind of sit and expand, creating space. And so they come out without any damage to them or the birthing person. And it sounds like, and I empathize with you being in a space where you're like, I'm kind of rocking out. Like,
Yeah.
I know I need to get to that point. I know where I'm going. It's just as I'm moving there, there's a little bit of tension, and then, ooh, I kind of got to step back, but I know who I'm becoming, and so I'm
Hmm.
going to keep going forward.
Oof, you just read me, girl. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's one of the
Mm-hmm.
feel the fear and do it anyway, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm feeling it, but gonna definitely keep moving in this direction. So
yeah.
absolutely. Hey y'all, Pink Lady here. I'm a podcast producer, director, coach, and host. And I want to tell you all about my production company, Pink Lady Productions. We collaborate with creatives like you who are driven to share your message by launching your podcast from A to Z and coaching you through the process. To learn more about our services, check out our website at pinkladyprod.com. That's PINKLADYPROD.com. Alrighty, so this conversation has been really great, and there's been a lot of insight. But I
Mm-hmm.
love to ask this specific question of my guests, and that is,
Sure.
what does being an entrepreneur mean to you?
Mm, I believe, for me at least, being an entrepreneur means that I am given the privilege and responsibility of creating the world that I see in my head.
Mm,
And that means that all of the infrastructure that I know needs to be in place to keep people safe and thriving, it is my responsibility to get it out of me and into the world. The people that I'm called to lead, interact with, to mentor, to teach, the clients I've been called to serve, it's my responsibility to complete that. And because I have not often, well, not for a very long time, been in traditional workspaces, it means that I have the privilege of figuring out how to navigate with those partners and with our vendors and contractors so that they also help me accomplish this mission and vice versa. But it is a joy, it is a responsibility, and it also means that I am gifted with the opportunity to be a pioneer and to be responsible in how I do that.
yeah. Yeah, I love how you took both sides of it, the responsibility, but also the privilege, because it is a
Mm-hmm.
privilege, right?
Mm-hmm.
To have this freedom and to be able to choose, who I work with, right? The
Mm-hmm.
work that I do, the services that I actually do. I get to choose all that. So that is
Yeah.
absolutely a privilege. But it absolutely is a responsibility as well. Building the life in your head, that's people don't do that. Like, what
Like
do
I
you
have all these
mean?
ideas, but how do we get them down and out on
Yeah.
paper?
Oh,
It's a process.
yes, absolutely. But being daring enough and having the
Mm-hmm.
audacity, that's another one of my words this year.
Yes.
Having the audacity to do it, to step into that
Mm-hmm.
is so cool, so amazing. And then
Mm-hmm.
the life that you get to build because of that, that's the privilege right there for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I love that you said that. Community keeps coming up. So we got to talk
Mm-hmm.
about community. Talk about
Yeah.
why community is important. I can tell like you want to serve your community, you have your
Mm-hmm.
mission, and no matter what the business looks like whatever point, your mission stays the same.
Yes.
So I love that. So talk about like that mission and how that is in service to your community.
At the end of the day, I don't want people dying prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should live a long, happy, healthy life. That's one of my core principles. And the fact that Black women, my age, younger, and older, are dying when they go in to have a child, and go in meaning like in whatever birth space they're in. It just, I don't know how that could sit right with anybody, to be very honest. But I also recognize that women are very precious, and we often are mishandled and abused and undervalued in this like society. And that also doesn't sit right with me, because every human being is precious and inherently worthy of dignity and respect. So when I see spaces where that's not happening, I'm like, what is this? Why not? So
Mm-hmm.
I think more than anything, because my value is that human life is precious and should be protected, then I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure my community is safe and well. And I'm a community member. Like, if that happens to you, I don't want it to happen to me. Like, so we got to protect each other.
Right, right. Because it's reciprocal, right? It's not just me doing all the work.
Absolutely.
It's us
Yeah.
protecting each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
for a long time, I was scared to vocalize that I had selfish reasonings behind this mission and purpose, and why I worked so diligently. But the selfishness is also altruistic, because, like I said, I don't want my family to bear the burden of me passing because I've had a child. And I don't want to bear the burden of one of my family members passing because they had a child. But my family is not just the Hairstons. My family is a vast network of people. It's my community. And so if my community, if their safety is on the line, I'm gonna, battle up and go protect them. And so I see this as my way to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just another layer, or
Yeah.
what is it called? Like an extension of you, an
Yes.
extension of your family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And I think it just is like my heart for justice. Like,
Mm.
I've worked in prison reform. I've worked in education for many years. I worked in intimate partner violence prevention. Where people are not being treated right, I step in, and this is the space I've been in the longest, because it intersects with so much. If you don't have a safe birth, your entire life trajectory has changed, and my research has shown that and has studied that, like the impact of your birth experience on where you go to school and how long you stay in school and what kind of jobs you might be interested in, and how safe your community is growing up. So birth is the impetus, not just for us coming into the world, but really it sets up how you might be able to navigate the world. And that's really important to me.
Yeah. You just gave me a light bulb moment. Because
Mm,
I've I'm not as an adult, but as a child, I was always like scared of water. My aunts and my mom will
mm,
always have all of these stories about when they're trying to wash me in the sink, and I'm like crawling up them because I'm scared of water, right?
yeah.
And I never learned to swim as a kid. I just
Mm,
just don't do water. Um, and what you just said about your birth, right,
mm,
setting you up for things like that, it just made me have and just I don't know if I feel like there's some correlation there. I don't know if there's causation,
mm,
but my mom had a C-section with me. I
mm-hmm,
was her second child, so it was a planned C-section.
mm.
But I know C-sections can be traumatic for the
It
baby,
can be.
right?
Mm-hmm,
So just thinking about that trauma somehow
mm,
having a correlation with my relationship with water.
mm-hmm,
I don't know.
mm.
I'm just like these are the thoughts that are swimming through as you were speaking.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I want to have a conversation with my mom, and I wonder if she knows anything more. She can tell me more about my birth, and just I don't know, but like,
Hmm. Well, and I couldn't say yes or no there, but I do
yeah,
always tell people, go ask, if you, especially if you have access to your birthing parent, go ask them about your birth story.
yeah.
It might explain a lot, and the days leading up to it, the days after it, their postpartum experience. It might reveal a lot to you.
Okay, that's the key, y'all. Listen
Yeah.
to Leah and definitely go do that because I'm gonna do that and I'm
Mhm.
gonna report back for sure. Okay, So, last question, because I know we got to get out of
Sure.
here. You've given some really great advice, specifically about like starting the business and pivoting and things like
Mhm.
that. But if you have any specific advice for Black women entrepreneurs, what would that be?
There are more resources available to you than you might expect.
Mm.
So do your research, figure out where you can access capital, also do your market research and be very specific in what you offer in terms of who you offer it to, how much it costs, and what is the transformation that somebody will go through because of what you offer. Products are also transformational, but how you tell the story is imperative.
Mm, mm. You mentioned a little bit of that earlier too, and I wanted to go back to. So I'm so glad
Mm-hmm.
that you brought it back up,
Sure.
because the I serve everybody mindset has to go too. That's another
Yeah.
mindset that we're kicking to the curb, right? You have a specific person that you serve, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
a specific service. You have everything, like you said. Be specific,
Yeah.
because it will grow. The I serve everybody mindset is the thing that won't grow, but
Precisely. You
right.
will go from specific to I want to serve everyone. And that's where you have to be really clear about what your business actually does.
Yes.
Because everyone will come to you, everyone is not for you. Those are two different things.
That's a key.
And you got to be able to say no. Like I've even had to learn no,
Hmm.
no, thank you, no.
No
And
is a complete sentence.
it is a complete sentence.
Yes.
And it feels, especially in a space where we're told you should do something for everyone. You got to be open and accessible to the community. And how dare you charge people? Do you want to pay my bills? Like, please help yourself. But in order to do what we do, and for us, we have a 100% survival rate.
Mm,
That's not by accident. In a
yeah.
space where 80 something percent of our clients have a high risk pregnancy, meaning the statistics say that they will die or their baby will die. Our clients go home and they're safe and they're thriving 3, 5, 8, 10 years later. So, what that means is the wraparound support, yes, in this continent, it's expensive because we have a benefits navigator who navigates your insurance processes. We have a client care team lead. We have a plethora of doulas who have birth and postpartum experience, but it's in depth. Like they have clinical fluency because I train them. So I know that they know what they're talking about when they're in a hospital or a doctor's office. We also have massage therapists. We have mental health therapists we refer to. We have a pelvic floor physical therapist and a registered dietitian on our team that are providing wraparound support so people don't have painful pregnancies. They have shorter labors. They have shorter recovery times in postpartum. Our postpartum doulas have belly binding and belly wrapping expertise. We are lactation counselors. To get all that in one location, honestly, it should cost $35,000. And that's why hospitals can offer it because they're already paying people. But to
Mm,
have that in a concierge experience where instead of 15 minutes every couple of weeks, you get 95 hours of
mm.
dedicated, I know you, I know your partner, I know your family. How's your niece doing? I know you went to the birthday last week. That new pain is different. We should talk to this person. I can call them right now and refer them. It's like
Mm,
you don't have to, you're not sitting waiting for 4 months to see someone.
yeah.
That is expensive care, but that's concierge care. And I tell people it's not just like, oh, we want to be expensive. We offer luxury personalized care because you deserve that. You deserve a practitioner and a team that's like, oh, how such and such. I was thinking about her this week and I want to make sure she was good because when I saw her on Friday, we put this in the notes. So we're going to make sure we talk about it on Tuesday. That matters. In a
Yes.
world where our names are forgotten,
Mm.
people read the wrong charts because they're under the
Mm.
stress and strain of a system where they only have 7 minutes. I know you. I know your sister's name. I know
Yes.
your niece's name. I've been in your home multiple times. I know your favorite toilet. I tell you, go sit on that toilet that you really, really like. Your body will relax, and it works. And it works because we get to
Yeah.
know people and we get to treat people as people. And
Mm.
that is what saves lives.
Yeah.
And honestly, I want everyone to replicate it. I'm like, it works. It works. Please use it. But I know that for us to do it well, one, we're a small team. We can't do it for everybody every day. So we have to figure out who is the best fit. We're very specific, and our clients are a good match. And that's what allows us to make sure that we are supporting people in ways that keep them and their families alive and thriving.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Because if you're not paying for it with money, right,
Yeah,
you're still gonna pay for
you're
it
going to
just
pay
with something else, right?
with
And it could
time,
be
with
with your life,
frustration,
literally,
and oh, it
right?
honestly could, Jazz. And that's the part that scares me.
Mm,
People might assume, oh, I don't have it. Okay. But also, are you willing to be at the mercy of a system that, even with Beyonce and Serena's status, we're
mm,
at the mercy of the system? Like, I don't,
mm.
money is not the thing that will protect you in the medical system if you're a Black birthing person. It just isn't. Access to care and personalized support and wraparound and advocacy, the advocacy for both Serena and Beyonce is what saved them. It was not the money. The money may have given them access to advocacy, but that's also why we offer Medicaid approved support. It's like, whatever way you need to pay, we will work with you. At the end of the day, it's about keeping people safe and alive and thriving. So I'll get off my soapbox.
No, oh my gosh, that was the mic drop moment. You had a few
Mm.
throughout the episode, but oh my gosh, these just great, just great, just great. I'm gonna let you go. I'm not gonna keep you too much longer.
It was a pleasure, though. Thank you, Jazz.